What's good, world? It's your boy King Phenom here in the booth with King Phenom. Yeah, that's right. You get a solo show today, unfortunately, and I feel like I have to say that a lot lately, so I apologize for that. But yeah, as I always say, people have lives, they have things they have to do, and so you just get me today. So if you don't like me, if I'm your least favorite person, tough shit for you. But if you fucks with me, I fucks with you. So let's get started because we have a whole bunch of things that we want to get into, or that I want to get into, should I say. I'm so used to having other people around that my first thought is to pass the buck on to someone else. But no, we have some topics from this week that I feel a lot of people have a lot of different says on, so I'm going to give you my opinion on that. I'll talk about maybe some things that happened last week because we didn't have an episode last week because it was my birthday. I was out of town. We normally record the podcast in my house, so with me being out of town, I ain't letting people in my house if I ain't here. Like, I don't care who you are. But I did enjoy myself. Thank you for everyone out there for the birthday wishes. Me and my wife, we went out to Texas for a few days, lived it up, ate some bad food. But goddamn, that food was so good. But enough about me. One of the big pieces of news that come out this week is reportedly Henry Cavill is out as Superman at Warner Brothers. Yeah, that's right. Old Mr. Cavill himself. So what I hear, it's like two different things, or it's a bunch of different things. It has to do with Cavill's schedule. It could have to do with Cavill's schedule. It could have to do with just a negotiation tactic to try to get more money out of him. It also could just have to do with there's no real plans for Superman right now. The first thing that I do know is that there was a rumor going around that Superman was supposed to be a cameo in the Shazam movie. They were trying to negotiate that, and I think they said that's one of the places where I guess Cavill's agent and the studio just didn't have couldn't meet in agreement. So that could be one thing. Another thing I heard is that Warner Brothers just didn't have any real plans for Superman, for the Man of Steel 2 that we should have gotten a long time ago before Batman versus Superman. And that they were more so focused on not the last son of Krypton, but the last daughter of Krypton, Kara. And I don't have a problem with that. For the longest time, it's like in these movies, we've always seen the same people. It's always Batman. It's always Superman. They've already shown 3 times that, for comic book movies, they'll give Spider-Man hella other chances. But, Supergirl, what was it, 1980s, I think, was the Supergirl movie. Wasn't the greatest movie. I was a little kid the first time I saw it, and as a little kid, almost anything that you see can be like the greatest thing ever. For the longest time, you couldn't tell me that Super Mario Brothers wasn't a good movie, and now I'm just like, oh, that's so trash right up there with that 1998, 1999 Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick. So I'm fine with them giving Supergirl another chance. The TV show, whether you like it or not, it's proven that that she does have a draw, and that she can appeal to a mass of people. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we don't need all the big name heroes all the time. Sometimes you need to step back and give some of the lower name heroes some shine. Guardians will always be the best example of that. Guardians of the Galaxy was not that well known to people. I personally only knew of Guardians of the Galaxy because of the I want to say Marvel's Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon that came on Disney XD, where he was teamed up with Luke Cage, who just went by Power Man at the time, Iron Fist, I believe her name was Tigress, or White Tiger, I want to say Tigress, and Nova, who was a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's how I found out about Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Root, and Rocket. So I'm all for, and I'm not saying that Supergirl's a small character. She's a well-known character, and they've done her right on different occasions, so giving her a live action movie isn't really a big deal. I liked her in what was the animated movie, Apocalypse, where she comes to Earth after Superman's already been established as Superman. Batman doesn't really trust her. They send her off to go live with the Amazons to learn and train and harness her powers. And then Darkseid comes, kidnaps her. They take her to Apocalypse. Like, Superman's like, nah, bruh, give back my cousin. Went to go kick some ass. So, putting Superman on the shelf for Supergirl, that's not really a big thing in my mind. And other people are just like, look, they're only doing this because they want more money. Both sides still want Cavill as Superman. His manager, Danny Garcia, is it Garcia? Yeah, the Rock's ex-wife, basically. She put out a tweet saying, "Don't get it twisted. My man's cape is still in the closet." And WB kind of put out a nice little statement like, thank you, Henry, for all you've done. They didn't necessarily say, we're done with you, but I guess they're like, we want to still work with you, but if we can't, we thank you for everything you've done. So that's interesting. Some people are upset because they're just like, oh, Henry Cavill was the best Superman we've gotten, and other people are just like, good riddance, I'm tired of this emotional mopey Superman. Which I can blame some on direction and I can blame some on the actor, because Man of Steel wasn't a great movie, but it was kind of what I finally wanted out of a Superman movie. It was just him like, I have these powers, I'm going balls to the wall. He killed a lot of people in his fight with Zod, but it was great to finally see Superman on it was finally great. Sorry, I'm over here reading comments at the same time. It was great to finally see Superman utilize his powers fully on the big screen. And with Sirius is over here, who's sick right now, talking about he's trying to get that Witcher money from Netflix. And yeah, scheduling. He wanted to play The Witcher. He made that known when Netflix announced that they were going to do The Witcher. So I can't blame Henry Cavill for like, look, my stock's rising. You knew me possibly as a little kid, or not the little kid, the teenager, to Edmond Dantes and the Count of Monte Cristo. You might have known me from Tudors, but for a lot of people, Superman is where you first met Henry, and the longer he was in that role, it gave him other opportunities. He was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., in my opinion, was a dope movie. Him and Armie Hammer, they worked very well together. He pulled off this very, very charming American spy. I'll give him credit for that, as I thought, he might have been a little one-dimensional after watching Superman. I was like, no, he's very complex. He can pull off different things. While on my birthday trip, I finally saw Mission Impossible Fallout, and he was good. I'll tell you this. He was, how do I say this? He was kind of like Superman on Red Kryptonite a little bit, where he was just kind of cocky and very confident, and you were just like, yeah, you should be. Like, go ahead, go kick some ass. And, there was a twist that I saw coming, but I'm not going to spoil it. But I personally thought he was good in the movie. He was a good addition to the cast, and he helped make that movie as good as it was. So if you haven't seen Fallout yet, if it's still in theaters, go see it. If not, I know y'all bums use Cody. Like, ain't nobody gonna fake about nothing. Sirius says he has that Pierce Brosnan type of swag. In The Man from U.N.C.L.E., yeah, he had swag. That's all I can say. It's like, I never really found Henry Cavill to be charming, but I will say in that, it's like, yeah, he was a charming son of a bitch. So he definitely was that. But anyway, back to the Superman thing. So Man of Steel was okay because they finally, let Superman, fight. It wasn't just like one or two punches here. No, they were destroying buildings. They were fighting. I don't agree with all the people that died. I don't agree with how Metropolis pretty much ended up a big crater, and then like 3 years later, it's like nothing ever happened, except for now you just have a monument in the middle of the city to remember the people who died. But it was cool. Then you get to Batman versus Superman, and why? In my mind at the time, I was like, oh, dope, we finally get to see Batman versus Superman. But looking back at it now, I'm like, why did I need that? I already knew that I didn't think Henry Cavill was at that place yet where I could acknowledge him fully as Superman. I feel like he had some more maturing and some more growth to do as the like, and I'm not even talking about the actor, I'm talking about the character as far as the way Zack Snyder was presenting it. And so just throwing in Batman, it was a little too much. I can admit that in hindsight. It was a little bit too much. You wasted a great story. You wasted two great comic storylines. You basically wasted The Dark Knight Returns, and you wasted Superman Doomsday, or The Death of Superman, whatever you want to call it. You wasted those great storylines and made a subpar movie. And then you tried to finish it off on Justice League. And while I don't really like Justice League, the one thing I will say is the moment when Superman comes back and he like basically fucks up the entire league, that was the best I think Henry Cavill or Cavill has looked as Superman. If they had given us that more often, or if they gave us that in Batman versus Superman, not this I'm always doubting myself, it's just like I have this power, I can take out what I want, I'm about to do what I want. It was just, yeah, it was a rush job from DC. That's all it comes down to. It was a rush job from DC to try to catch up to the MCU. And the issue is, you didn't have to catch up to the MCU. Surprisingly, I know a lot more people who are DC fanboys than Marvel fanboys. They'll say Marvel makes great movies, but they'll be like, overall, DC is better. And so they would have waited for you to cultivate this universe a lot better. And you just, you did everything wrong, DC. You wasted good actors, because now, Cavill might be gone. Ben Affleck, saw something like the day when they said Cavill was out there. It was like, yeah, Ben Affleck's done. He's done. I mean, the man's already in rehab, contemplating life and shit. So, and he's been on the edge, teetering about whether or not he wanted to be Batman anymore anyway. So, it's like, you're falling apart. And Flashpoint has to be what saves you, DC. You need Flash, come up in there, do what he does, go ahead and reset the timeline, change the timeline a little bit. That way you can bring in another Superman. Because I saw someone say, well, Superman, Batman, those are all kind of interchangeable. Yes, they can be interchangeable, but when you're in the confines of a universe, interchanging big characters, that's a major thing. This isn't changing Rhodey in Iron Man 1 from Iron Man 2, because one, Iron Man was the first MCU movie, and two, at the time, not a lot of people were big fans of Iron Man, so they didn't really know the significance that Rhodey would have. So trying to just go ahead and wipe it, you're going to need Flashpoint to do that. Flashpoint is the only way you can wipe it. You can bring in a new Superman, you can bring in a new Batman, and people won't complain the most. And that's the benefit of having that speedster in DC. So I hope they're listening out there. If not, someone link this to them and say, DC, hire Phenom. That's the biggest issue. Just hire some people. Just hire nerds off the street. We can fix so much. Like me and one of my old coworkers, that's what we used to do with the old ArrowVerse shows. We used to like watch it, see the crappy plot points and all this, and then we just cultivate a quick story real quick and be like, CW, hire me. So WB, hire me. Warner Brothers, I got you. I won't let you down. Like, I can get the job done. I have a group of specialists and experts who will make sure that your universe can thrive. But so not on to the next subject, kind of still within the same subject, about Superman. So with Henry possibly out, people have been coming up with ideas for replacements, and the number one thing they said, or the number one person in WB's mind, was Michael B. Jordan, and this absolutely has nothing to do with color. I want people to know that. Nothing to do with race, nothing to do with he's black. Because let's face it, if they want him, they're going to get him, or if he wants to do it, he's going to do it. He's already suffered through the backlash of people getting on him for Fantastic Four, so he's probably just like, whatever, F all you, I don't care. I personally would just prefer for kind of a no-name actor, like someone that you've never really heard of, just giving them a chance. It's like, because you don't have to make like a big budget over the top Superman movie. You can do DC. You can do small budget movies, and you can introduce new people. That's how people get known. It's like when you look at your cast for when you were going to do the what was it, the Justice League Immortals movie. Like you had what is his name, Adrian not Padalecki. Look, whoever it was that played Bobby on Agents of Shield and who played Jessica in the first season of Supernatural. She played Wonder Woman. She would have been good. She wasn't a no name. You had Adam Brody from the OC who was playing Flash. Not a lot of people, if you didn't watch like teen dramas, didn't know who he was. Common was a well known person because he was a rapper, but his acting still wasn't all the way up there. I want to say Armie Hammer. He was supposed to be Batman. Wasn't really a big name other than the Winklevoss from the Social Network. And then what's the dude's name? I want to say the dude's name that was supposed to play Superman was like DJ something. If I'm not mistaken, and if you have Netflix, go watch the From Dusk Till Dawn TV show. And I believe the dude who was playing Seth, George Clooney's character was Seth. I believe that was the guy that they had casted to play Superman. You don't need big names all the time. I understand there's somewhat of a draw, and especially sometimes internationally with a big name. But when it comes down to these comic book characters, we care more so about getting the story right. We care more so about portraying the character in a good way. We'll be willing to take some up and coming actors. It's like because sometimes even when you get big name actors, you're still going to get shitted on. Ben Affleck got shitted on. Michael Keaton got shitted on. It's going to happen, no matter what. So take a chance with a no name, and save you some money on the actor side, and go ahead bump up. Then you can go ahead and fix the production, lower the production a little bit, but get someone young who can grow into the role. And just have them be Superman. I'm thinking kind of like the way they did Brandon Routh in Superman Returns. You don't have to like Superman Returns. I don't have a problem with it because I personally did like Brandon Routh. He played a good Clark Kent to me. He wasn't that bad as Superman. I just feel like the movie suffered because they tried to make a 70s, 80s Superman in the 2000s, and no one was having that. But Brandon Routh did a good job. I wouldn't have mind seeing him have another go at Superman. So pick someone who can make the role their own, who's relatively unknown. Sirius, once again, he's in the comments. Like he's in the comments strong right now. Like I said, he is sick, but he said he liked Brandon Routh as Superman. And so another one of our kings, King Showtime, liked him as Superman. You can play a good character and the movie still be trash. That happens all the time. He probably could have beefed up some though. He probably could have hit the gym a little bit more, but just look at him now. He's on TV as Adam, and fast forward, Showtime, fast forward. But yeah, he's on Brandon Routh. He's now on Legends of Tomorrow, which in my opinion is probably the best ArrowVerse show that you can find on CW right now, because it doesn't take itself too lightly, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just that perfect balance, and it's a good ensemble character. But yeah, I don't need Michael B. Jordan. Love Michael B. Jordan. He's a great actor. Creed is one of my favorite movies in like the last 5 to 10 years, but I want someone else. Also thinking of if Cavill's gone, someone posed a very good question to me at work. If he's not Superman anymore, and since they've kind of let this whole Idris being Bond thing die off, would Cavill make a good Bond? He's what, like 34, 35, I think. So, he's young. He's proven he has the physicality. As far as looks and charms go, I mean, he showed it in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. while pretending to be American, so I don't see how you can't be suave with a British accent naturally. Like, I think he would actually be a really good Bond. I would give him a shot just based off of how he was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Like, once again, I have more people who say they could see him as Bond. I definitely think they could. They should work that in. So whoever's doing the Bond movie, once we get rid of once we get rid of Daniel Craig. No offense, Daniel Craig, because I wasn't sitting through Casino Royale. I didn't see what was it, Quantum of Solace. I did like Skyfall. Skyfall was the only Daniel Craig Bond movie I was willing to sit through. So give me something new. Give me someone younger, more physical, got a little bit of that swag to him. Henry, when you're done filming The Witcher, go ahead and tell him, I'm your next James Bond. I'm good with that. And apparently a lot of people else are good with that too. And I said a lot of people else. That don't even sound right. Oh, Lord, this is why I can't do shows by myself. Y'all got me over here trying to think on the fly and come up with words. I'm messing it all up. But, hey, look at my Scooby Natural poster. Another thing I wanted to talk about, and this was just me personally, was because I will probably be going to go see The Predator either today or tomorrow, is the controversy that's been going on, once again, out of town. Can't talk about it all the time. But this whole Olivia Munn and The Predator thing, where they Shane Black casted a friend of his in a scene with Olivia Munn. And it turns out that this friend of his is a registered sex offender. And she brought it to the attention of the studio, and the studio went ahead and deleted his scene. And I guess while Munn was speaking about it, it just seemed like the studio was trying their best to kind of more so cover up the whole thing. You know, it's like, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We'll make sure the scene's cut. Don't say shit else. And I guess they weren't happy with her saying some stuff. She went to, I believe, TIFF is the name of the film festival she was at. A lot of her, now, in defense, some of her castmates just weren't there because they had other things to do, or they had to leave early because of other obligations. So I guess she was saying with the whole thing surrounding the controversy, she kind of felt alone. And Olivia, baby, I'm sorry you had to feel that way. Because I read or I heard what this dude was accused of trying to trying to coax like a 13, 14-year-old relative of his into a relationship. And he went to jail for that. And I'm all for second chances, but at the same time, I'm all for disclosure. Someone said it's something about for actors or something like that, they don't have to disclose certain things. If that's the truth, that's straight bullshit. That needs to be changed. I mean, we're in an era now where there's no point of hiding shit because someone can just bring it up and get your ass fired anyway. So you might as well be truthful about it. And for the studio to kind of chastise her a little bit, and for her to kind of feel like she's been isolated from the crew and from her castmates, that's fucking ridiculous. All right, if I was working with someone and I found out they tried to do that dirty shit, guess what? Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to be by you. I don't want to be near you. I don't want to hear your explanation of what was happening. It's ridiculous. And the fact is, this woman did the right thing, and she feels like she's being treated like she did something negative. Since all this, two of her co-workers or her co-stars, Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us, and that white guy whose name I don't know, the dude from Logan, like not the main bad guy, but like the main soldier bad guy. They've come out, basically saying, we're sorry we didn't say anything, or we're sorry that she felt so alone. She did the right thing. We're not, no one should condemn her for what she did. And the fact that someone has to say no one should condemn her means that some people aren't in the right mindset. And eventually Shane Black, I think like 2 days ago, basically said, this is all on me. Nowhere in his explanation in his apology did he apologize to Olivia Munn. He was basically like, I'm the director. I'm like, this was my friend. It's my job to make sure the studio knows information like this. It's my job to make sure that, it's my job to make sure that my cast and my crew feel comfortable around everyone. And the fact is, I let everyone down. That's still not good enough. Shane Black, You made Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, one of my favorite movies. You've made The Nice Guys, one of my favorite movies. You made Lethal Weapon, one of my favorite movie series. You can still do better than that, bro. You can still find this woman. You can find Olivia Munn and you can apologize. And for all the people out there who's just like, oh, she didn't have a problem working with Bryan Singer when all his allegations were coming forth and whatnot. Stop picking and choosing, all right? Bad is bad. If she felt like something had to be said, she said something, it happened. All right? And apparently this wasn't a big scene anyway. Like, dude was just like a jogger who like talked to her for a few seconds. So don't make a big deal out of it. Like, she did the right thing. No one wants to find out something on the back end of something. And stop acting like in the same situation you wouldn't be uncomfortable and you wouldn't want something done about certain things. Because I've been on the internet. I read Twitter. People cry and bitch and moan about the stupid things. So please do not cry and bitch and moan when someone tries to do the right thing about something fucked up. What the? Okay, so Blank Man just jumped in the chat and I'm confused because he says we're oh, you mean where are the ladies? You don't know how to type right? Like, I'm all confused. Yeah, serious. He took responsibility, but he took responsibility like a couple weeks after all this was going down. And I still feel like you should. I still feel like if you have someone in your cast, and I don't know, he might have personally reached out to her on the back end, but I feel like she kind of like she does deserve a little bit of apology. Like, you have her out here. You had the studio basically telling her that she shouldn't have done what she did, or she shouldn't have spoken about it. You know, then she's over here answering questions after she said something. She's over here answering questions at festivals and stuff like that all by herself because some of her coworkers or co-stars couldn't be there or left early, because I think Keegan-Michael Key was there and he left early. So just, let her know you have some support. Yes, I understood now that you meant where Blank Man. Unfortunately, Brown and... Are we going with AK Senpai? Yeah, I'm going to call it AK Senpai. Both couldn't make it. So, yeah, that's right. It's just me. If you don't like it, just hit that close on your icon. What else do I have? Oh, the background's dope. Thank you. I want everyone to know this background right here, all this crap is just Five Below mixed with other free things. Five Below poster, my thing from Awesome Con this year, and then all these are nothing more than free comic books that I got from Free Comic Book Day this year. Also, I made some more changes. You're going to see that. Well, I apologize for the dirtiness that you're about to see. I didn't fully clean up my booth, but let me show y'all. Over here, always gotta make sure T'Challa and them are represented. Right there behind where Blank Man and Sirius would normally be, you have the DC kicking ass. Then over here in the corner, probably my favorite anime right now, that My Hero. If I could, I want to be Deku when I grow up. I'm not old enough. All right. Am I back? I'm back. Cool. So I hope y'all enjoyed the new look. After a while, I was just like, bump it. I'm tired of this booth. So I broke down the booth I built. What we got next? Impressions of Iron Fist Season 2 for those who have seen it. My impression of Iron Fist Season 2 so far is I've only seen 2 episodes, maybe 3. I can't remember. But it doesn't feel as boring and as dragged out so far as it did in the last season. Sorry, let me fix this a little bit. The action looks a lot smoother, but you could tell that was happening from the Defenders and from Danny's cameo in Luke Cage Season 2. So I'm holding out hope. There's some characters from last season that I still don't like this season. Like, I hate the character, Joy Meacham. Noose around the neck, jump off a bridge. That's all I got to say. Not to the actual actress, just to the character. Like, hey, she kind of bores me. But I definitely think that I'm going to enjoy this a lot more than the last season. Last season I didn't even finish it, to be honest, and that was the first and only Netflix Marvel show that I didn't finish. So I will give you my full review when I finish this season. Normally I binge the entire season, but I couldn't. I'm missing too much stuff. I'm trying to catch up on too much stuff, so it's like bump it. Uh, I'm trying to decide, world. Do I want to do a quick trailer reaction to something, or do I want to go on to the next topic? Decisions. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a quick little trailer reaction. Why? Because you deserve it, people. This right here was released yesterday because yesterday, 9/15, was Batman Day. And the DC streaming universe, I believe, released this week, which I'm not getting because I'm not paying $8 a month just so I can watch some old cartoons. No offense. And I already own Lois and Clark on DVD, so I can watch that whenever I want. There's nothing really appealing to me right now until the original shows come out. And once the original shows come out, I'll make up my mind. But for right now, here's a quick little teaser thing they gave us on Batman Day for Titans, which I'm calling When Dick Meets Todd. Yes, I understand how that sounds.
Nice to meet you, bro. I'm Henry Robin. This is the dopest thing ever. Kicking ass for being famous. Join the Batmobile.
Who lets you drive the Batmobile?
And there you have it right there. Not bad. I did I enjoy the fact that we got to see Jason Todd. It's kind of funny that you have him in here. Only downside about it is if Titans doesn't last very long, then we won't see him transition into the Red Hood, which that's pretty much all anyone wants to see anyway. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't have voted to kill the man off. Back in the 80s. But I hope that if Titans doesn't last long, I hope they transition. I hope they can keep the same actor if he's any good. But you can keep the same actor and just transition him into another show, and just sooner or later have him become Red Hood. The only downfall to that would be you would have to cast a Batman inside of this universe, and it would just be so much to have a movie Batman, and then you'd have then people will probably eventually want an Arrowverse Batman since they're introducing Batwoman in Gotham City and all that. And then for everything involving these Robins, you would want a streaming Batman. It's why do you need 3 different Batmans? So get that shit together. Figure out what you're going to do. Serious, why do you call bullshit? Are you calling bullshit on the fact that Jason Todd gets to drive the Batmobile? Yes, Batman never left City. Hey, you never know, all right? Grayson already went off and said, fuck you, I'm about to go do my own thing. So maybe he's you know what? I need to lighten up a little bit. The next one, he can drive the Batmobile. Every once in a while. Besides, Batman got so many gadgets. He's probably making him think he drive, and he's probably got some remote control in his hand that's really driving that he don't notice. So I do know that when me and Sirius talked about it, he was just he thought that the age difference didn't look big enough between Dick and Jason. And to that, I was well, they couldn't be too far apart because it looked at least going off of Batman the animated series, when Tim came along, Tim Drake, the third Robin, and Dick Grayson was Nightwing. Dick was probably about maybe, I would say 7 to 10 years older than Tim Drake. So maybe putting him in his early to mid 20s. So I wouldn't expect Jason to be that much younger than Dick. I would say maybe about somewhere between 3 to 5 years. So that looks about right. I don't have an issue with that. In the promo pic I saw though, They were both wearing the same outfit. And I didn't like that. What the hell, dog? Like, you, not only did you replace Dick Grayson, but you didn't even bother to change the outfit that the new Robin wear. It's basically like, oh, here, he outgrew this and he just left it here. Put this on, you're my new Robin. Switch it up a little bit. Switch it up. Or shame on you, Dick Grayson, for still walking around wanting to be Robin. The whole point of Nightwing was to have your own identity. And why do you still want to walk around like Robin? I want to know in this show, how fresh is Batman and Dick Grayson's parting? Because if they've been away from each other for like, a year or two, you shouldn't be wearing that outfit. If it's like 2-3 months, okay, yeah. And that would make it sting even more that you got replaced. And the replacement got to drive the Batmobile in like 2-3 months. Yeah, you ain't shit, dog. But anyway, I like to hear everyone else's reaction or everyone else's take on what we just saw. It was real quick, so you don't really need to have like a real in-depth 5-page summary on why Jason Todd doesn't belong on this show or anything like that. Excuse me, not being able to hand off the mic to anyone makes you a little parched. Another thing about this, though, as well, outside of just that, is we actually did get a image of the Titans that released. So let me go ahead and show you guys that. This is from ScreenRant.com. This is, I guess, the first official image of the team all together. For anyone who's here who's for some reason not familiar with the Titans, from your left you have Beast Boy, then Raven, then Robin, then Starfire. I don't like Beast Boy. I don't. Like, anyone who can look, you can tell that either they planned on painting his whole face, or he got tired and he didn't want to fully go through it. Because I feel like in the trailer, the official trailer, he had a full green face. Here it's more so like, all right, we're done shooting for the day, but we need this picture. Oh, but I've already wiped off some of my makeup. Who gives a damn? No one's gonna care. So I'm not really feeling that. Starfire, I'm not trying to bash. I'm not bashing females here, but I will say some people saying she looks like a lady of the night. Not entirely wrong. It's like, I know how she dresses in the comics, but it's just something about the way she looks in real life. You can get away with stuff in comics you can't get away with in real life. And I feel like with Starfire, the way she dresses, that's something that you can't really get away with in real life without people automatically assuming she's a lady of the night. So I'm sorry about that. Yes, I guess Starfire is going to stick with the hooker look. Serious. They could do a little better. They could definitely do a little better for my sister over here. It's already bad enough it's already bad enough people like trashing her as being cast as Starfire, but then when you have her looking like that, you ain't doing nobody no justice. They better have a good reason for doing that. I know, dog. It's crazy. I'm not feeling it. I'm not. You don't have to like me, but I ain't cool with that. What other quick hits do I have today? Oh, so this is to make Sirius happy, because Sirius is always saying this. If Ben Affleck is truly officially out as Batman, John Hamm, that's right, from Mad Men, has stated he is interested, that he would want to play Batman. Which I don't necessarily have a problem with him wanting to play Batman, and Sirius has been advocating this for like ever. My only thing is John Hamm is already, I think, like 47, 48. Ben Affleck was like 42, 43. If we're going to do a Flashpoint and like kind of reset things, Let's give us a little bit of a younger Batman. I just just I guess at this point though he's already established. We don't need any more Batman Begins type shit. We don't need. You know what? Fuck it, John Hamm, take the role. You suave, you cool. I seen you on Mad Men. Like you can pull off a Bruce Wayne like it ain't nothing. Matter of fact, I seen you in Baby Driver. You could pull off a cokehead Bruce Wayne like it ain't nothing. You could do it all. Go ahead and Showtime says he doesn't want John Hamm. Why don't you want John Hamm? Like my whole mindset for John Hamm or for I just wanted like a mid to possibly late 30s type of a Batman, and then that way you can have a younger Robin, like a 16, 17-year-old Robin, and then as he gets older, then you can transition and make a Nightwing movie, because at one point they said they were going to make a Nightwing movie, but it wasn't supposed to be tied into the DCU. So you could work it like that. I was cool when people said they wanted Jake Gyllenhaal to do it. People was like, I really can't see it. Jake Gyllenhaal is a goddamn method actor, dog. It's like between Nightcrawler, Southpaw, Prince of, like even going back to Prince of Persia, he's done action movies. He's done the dramatic movies. He can do it all. It's like I have no problem whatsoever believing that Jake Gyllenhaal can get into the mindset of Bruce Wayne and still pull off the physicality of being Batman. So that was always my vote. Was always going to be Jake Gyllenhaal. You just say that John Hamm would be a dope Batman beyond Bruce Wayne? Nah, because John Hamm, he's like, even though he's older, he doesn't look old enough to play old Bruce Wayne. It's like if Terry McGinnis came to John Hamm and John Hamm was like, I want you to be Batman, Terry'd be like, what the fuck, you just lazy? You don't want to do this shit no more? Like, you just trying to get me to get myself killed? Side note from Showtime, did y'all like I like Prince of Persia. I mean, they kind of whitewashed it, but I didn't mind it. Like, it wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a great movie. It was the movie where someone tells me Jake Gyllenhaal is going to be in an action movie. That's the movie I go back to, and I'm just like, oh, he could pull it off. Yeah, you can make John Hamm look older, but if you're going to do anybody, just go ahead and grab Michael Keaton for old Bruce Wayne. He's old. He's actually been Bruce Wayne. People will believe it. It's like, oh, Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton. See, like I said, I can see Jake Gyllenhaal as a Bruce Wayne too. Like, he's just done too much. I just watched Nocturnal Animals, and this dude is probably one of the greatest actors we have right now. I feel sometimes he's like undervalued, but he is a really, really good method actor, and he can get into a zone. So I think he could pull it off. At one point I used to think Christian Bale couldn't pull off Bruce Wayne, because whenever I saw him, all I saw was creepy Patrick from American Psycho. So I'm just like, I don't know if he can really be charming, because every time I seen him try to be charming, he only ends up hacking someone to death or trying to kill him with a chainsaw. So who knows how that could go. What else do I have? Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele is in talks to produce a Candyman remake. I'm for it. We need some more black horror in our lives. And after Get Out, Candyman, bringing him back to the forefront. Like, kids nowadays don't know. They don't know what it was like to be afraid to go up in that room, that bathroom, had them lights turn off and staring to him. And when someone was like, go say Candyman in the mirror 3 times, he was like, hell nah, fuck that. What you got? Like, truth or dare? That's the dare? Just go ahead and punch me in the chest. I'm going to go ahead and take that. Nope. And it would be so great. I know they probably won't, because if you're trying to do a reboot of a series like Candyman, you'll want some more movies. But it would be so great if they could get Tony Todd back into the character of Candyman. Tony Todd was dope in my opinion. He's always great at playing the creepy black guy. So as Candyman, he is totally believable. I would be totally here for it. Jordan, whatever studios would Whatever studios is thinking about it, go ahead, make that Candyman reboot. I need some more horror in my life anyway. I love it. AMC. AMC. I must admit, I was a big Walking Dead fan when it first started. More so because I was into the comics. I kind of stopped the comics at like issue 120, I want to say. So I'm maybe like 60 to 80 issues behind, and I'm probably never going to catch up to that. But I'll say like around season 6 or 7 of Walking Dead, I kind of fell off. Like, only thing that really hyped me up was when they introduced Negan, and even then after like 2 episodes, I bump it. And then Fear the Walking Dead, some of my fellow kings, Nightmare and Hypno, they always recommend Fear the Walking Dead. I saw the first season. I wasn't impressed with it, but I also know that shows can get better in their sophomore seasons, but I just never wanted to give it a chance. But AMC is saying that their network has a plan for the Walking Dead universe to live on for another decade. I don't know if I want damn near 20 years of The Walking Dead. I mean, aren't zombies about to be played out? Like, you know, all horror things kind of had their fad. You know, you had to wear... They have their fad and they circle back around. You know, you had the Night of the Living Dead, the George Romero zombies. You know, that had its fad. Then you went into like the vampires and things like that. That had its fad for a little moment. You had the werewolves. You know, the big movie monsters. They have their ins and their outs. They come, they go. And I don't know if I can really see the zombie trend lasting for a whole other 10 years. Oh, and side note, Tony Todd, yes, serious. The last movie he might have been in might have been one of the Final Destination movies. Last time you've heard him was as Zoom on The Flash. But anyway, AMC. I don't need it. Sometimes you just gotta let... I realize it's a moneymaker, and you just want to capitalize. It's just a business. And that's one thing I do admire about certain showrunners and how they stay in charge of their property, and they'd rather go out on a high note than to just keep going on and making money. So AMC, make your money. Robert Kirkman, just end it. Like, just be like, yo, do I have a say? I'm putting my foot down. I'm tired of this. We done. You know, or give us like a few years. Give us a little bit of a break. Like, if you really got those type of plans, then, you know, give us a little break, and then, you know, then come with a show 2-3 years after The Walking Dead or something, and then you can just do a time forward thing. All you gotta do is just like have a quick little highlight recap of like all the seasons of The Walking Dead, and then, you know, as soon as you get to the next screen, it's like boom, 5 years later or 10 years later. Go about it that way. AMC, hire me. That's my new motto. Whatever networks are struggling, whatever shows are struggling, hire me. WWE, definitely hire me, because y'all asses some trash right now. What else? Oh, we actually do now have a new Lois Lane inside of the DC universe. For the Arrowverse, that is, for the crossover, they stated that Superman was going to be in the crossover, and that Lois Lane was going to be in the crossover. And for the longest time, we already knew that Tyler Hoechlin from Teen Wolf was going to be Superman, because he was already Superman in Supergirl. But now we have a actress being casted as Lois Lane. So here you go, right here. Elizabeth Tulloch, I think her name is. Look, I'm not even going to say I think her name is. That's Juliet from Grimm. If anybody ever watched Grimm, that's Juliet/Eve from Grimm. That is one of my favorite characters on Grimm, because she had to go ahead and do the full Fred Illyria thing in the last season, or the second to last season of the show, and it worked. She turned a character that I was falling out of love with into a character with no feelings, no emotions, and it was a straight badass. I'm totally here for it. She's cool. She definitely has the type of... or she's shown on screen through playing Juliet, she has the type of demeanor, attitude that will go along with a Lois Lane. Someone that's always in the know, someone that doesn't want to feel left behind, someone that wants to be a equal but at the same time stand out above others. And that's kind of Lois Lane. Lois Lane was like, she was good at what she did. She wanted to be respected amongst her peers, but she also wanted them to know, hey, when it comes to this shit that I do this shit. So I'm all for it. Once again, if you don't know who she is, if you have Amazon Prime, 6 seasons of Grimm on Amazon Prime, watch it. It is one of my favorite shows that hurt my heart when it left. What was it? Left 2 years ago. Put a big void in my Friday night TV watching or my Saturday hangover morning DVR watching. Grimm, it's based on characters from like the Grimm fairy tales. It's kind of like Supernatural, only instead of traveling from city to city, it's about this guy named Nick who is from a descendant of what's known as Grimms, and Grimms have the capability of seeing what's called Vessen, which are kind of like, I'm not going to say demons, they're just like a different race, normally in the past Grimms were just supposed to exterminate the Vessen, but the good thing about this is this guy Nick, who's actually a cop, so he has a better sense of justice. So he's one of those people who's just like, hey, if you don't do no bad shit, I will protect you to the end. If you killing people, if you doing I will murder your ass. But I loved Grimm. It was a good show. It was put in that it was a show that surprisingly lasted 6 seasons, and I think the entire time the show was on air, it was always Friday nights. And if anyone who watches TV regular knows, most of the time when shit goes to Friday nights, that's the death slot. So to be initially assigned the death slot and to survive that entire time, kudos to you, Grimm. Kudos to you. It's like you can also catch the main guy from Grimm on some show that's supposed to be coming on NBC this year, along with the dude from Psych. It's supposed to be like a This Is Us type of thing where someone's cheating and someone's an asshole and friends die or commit suicide and everyone's now reevaluating their life. So you'll find it. It's an NBC show, so it'll probably catch a little bit of buzz when people hear that it's like from the makers of This Is Us. What else do I got? You know what? I think that was it. Only other thing I had on my docket today, aka the list that I always make every week, is the American God showrunner left. The American God showrunner left due to behind-the-scenes turmoil, in which, from what I hear, from what my sources tell me, it was the issue of the original showrunners left because the show was already expensive to make, and Starz was trying to cut down on the budget, and the original showrunners wanted to up the budget, so they left. They brought in a new showrunner. This showrunner ran into a lot of problems with rewrites to the script, which, whether you know it or not, rewriting scripts is going to cost you money because you're taking up more of those writers' time. And so once again, the issue becomes money. He has to hear from the studio, like studios like going back and forth with him. So he was just like, you know what? I ain't about this life. Y'all is too much. Fuck it. I'm out. Which, I mean, I hear Starz is kind of a hard network or a hard channel to kind of work with. Because I remember for a long time, 50 was making it seem like fuck Starz. We'll take the show and go somewhere else. We'll take Power and go somewhere else because you guys won't do small things like give us an extra episode so we can, or give us an extra couple episodes so we can expand on some of our storylines. So to some of my Power fans who think that, I don't know about this season, but maybe like the last season or two were kind of real rushy. According to 50 Cent, the whole reason it was real rushy was because they were trying to, the showrunners were thinking that they could convince Starz to give them a X amount of episodes, and Star's like, nah, you sticking to this 8 or 10 episodes. So they had to throw away a lot of stuff, rewrite some stuff, condense a lot of things into the season. So blame Stars. I don't watch Power anymore. After season 4, you know what it is? It's just, to me, for everyone who says it's so good and it's so great, it's just very, very it's semi-predictable, like hella predictable, and it's just, after a while, they're all just doing the same shit over and over again. It's not even like they're trying to find a new way to do it. It's just like you're doing the same shit. And you ain't gonna keep doing the same shit over and over again and expect for me to act like it's brand new every time. Like, I was so tired of that show. So, whatever. Stars, do what you gotta do. But I hope y'all fix this American Guy situation. Get y'all a new showrunner. Because the first season was dope. I definitely recommend watching that if you can. What was going to be my last thing to leave y'all off on for today was going to be another reaction. Like I always said, I'm late to certain things, but as a horror fan, I would be so messed up and doing you guys such a disservice to not get you guys hyped one more time for the Blumhouse Halloween movie that comes out next month, and which I've already heard from early screenings that it is a good movie, and that it should make enough money to encourage Blumhouse to make a sequel. So I'm going to leave you guys off with my reaction to this trailer. Here we go. If it sounds a little distorted, I'm sorry. I have subwoofers hooked up to my speakers, so that bass is killer. And I'm not liking this right now. What are you doing, Mike? It's too much light. You're too exposed, dog. Boo, where's the knife? Why isn't your door locked, woman? How's he just walking in houses?
So I can kill him. The bus crashed.
Michael Myers escaped. He returned to Haddonfield, his home.
I need to protect my family.
You have no security system, Karen.
Mom, you need help.
Evil is real.
There's a reason we're supposed to be afraid of this place.
I've been preparing for this for a long time. It is not safe to be on the street tonight.
Oh, get out of here! Get inside! Michael!
He's here. He is a killer, but he will be killed tonight. Happy Halloween, Michael.
Yo, I am here for that. That shit looked dope. You see the way Jamie Lee Curtis just uppercut? Look, she didn't just uppercut him. She uppercutted that nigga so hard that he fell back and went down into the daggone basement. That's dope. He had to kill someone with the hammer to get to the knife. Where are these people at? These people, like, this 2018. Why are these people walking around with their doors unlocked? Because I refuse to believe that my man got into 3 to 4 houses and that nobody heard a single thing. It's like their doors had to be unlocked because you would have heard some glass breaking or something. I was like, in my house, I hear almost like, unless my TV's on or something, that's the only excuse you can have. I can hear almost damn near everything. Or maybe I just have super hearing. It was a white neighborhood. Yeah, like that might be a Showtime because I remember when I was going to school in Frostburg, one time I was meeting up with one of my classmates, or a few of us were meeting up with one of our classmates. We were supposed to be doing something. She told us, you know, she's a native of the area, so she was like, "This is my address. You know, meet me in my house." So we get there, text her, "Hey, we're here." She's like, "Oh, just walk on in." So we walk in, and when we walk in, it's like her parents are sitting in the living room, and we're like, "Hi, we're here for so and so," and they're like, "Oh, she's still at work. Why don't you guys have a seat?" Y'all niggas is so comfortable. Yeah, you heard the way my voice went up with that because I'm still in shock. You so comfortable in your area. Not only are your doors unlocked, but you don't even have to, but you're not even at your house and you're telling people to just walk in. No, you need, no, what is you doing, baby? You got to be smarter than that. I was just like, white people, it must be so great to have this sense of security. It's like, I'm over here like, oh, she's in the house. She just unlocked the door for us. No, parents just in the house. She ain't there. She's still working. Ain't get there for like another 10, 15 minutes. I mean, they were real nice people though, but still, that's just weird. But anyway, I digress. Yes, this looks really, really good. I kind of wish they would have kept in that semi jump scare they had in the original trailer where the little black boy was scared of, or said there was something in his closet, and you know the babysitter kept trying to close the door and the door wouldn't close, and then when she opens it all the way, he's right there. That was a good scene from the first trailer. I like how they tried to show the end of him just there with the knife in the closet, but the whole thing definitely would have been dope. That was some Get Out ish. Yeah, possibly. Like, once again, Frostburg. So it was like 4 of us, and I was I was the only black person. So if Redbone was made back then, I probably wouldn't have gone in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this movie. Matter of fact, King time, Kings, Halloween. Can we make this a King's move? I mean, just let me know. Like, matter of fact, like, nah, you straight. You want me to take a picture of myself with the flash on? It's like, wait, you didn't know me then, so you wouldn't know anyway. If that's the case, that means I'm doing a great ass job assimilating if I was already taken over by a white person Showtime. It's like this man Phenom's been fooling people for almost a decade now, and he hangs around nothing but niggas. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all today. Hopefully next week we can get the whole crew back together, or at least a semblance of the crew back together. But if not, I was a little nervous doing this by myself, but it's cool. I can do this by myself. Maybe next time I'll move over somewhere else where I can see everything better, so you guys don't have to like look at me looking at different TVs and my phone or whatnot. I am the host, producer, the facilitator of all this. Man, I could just be like, the atmosphere up here, Showtime, my nose was bleeding because it's the altitude and it's very thin. I could find some lie. Unless I start running at you screaming get out or trying to choke you, man. But anyway, I'm your host, King Phenom. On behalf of that empty chair that should be Sirius, that empty chair that should be Blank Man, this empty chair that should be AK Senpai, and this empty chair that is always going to be off screen because Brown prefers not to be on camera. We were the Blurred Perspective. I am the Blurred Perspective. I will catch you next week.